today's topic is parenting in the area of hyperactive children. I'm doing a series of videos on hyperactivity, and parenting is one of the topics in that area. But it applies to even if you don't have hyperactive children. You will learn some tips in there. I'm going to give you some value that you can use and to make your hyperactive children or your children, prosper, do well in life and grow well and be successful. Because that's what every parent wants. I'm a parent. I have 2 children, and I've applied this successfully. My children are very well now, are successful, and I'm sure you can learn a few things out of it. So when you have a problem with a hyperactive child, first thing is, as I spoke about before, you have to handle their nutrition. The nutrition has to be handled, and you have to give them some brain food. So what nutrition does, it relaxes them, calms them down, and they are in a better position to sit down and focus and concentrate. Number 2 is junk foods. You have to make sure they don't have junk foods. Unfortunately, the market propagates information that you think is good foods, which are actually junk foods. So I explain very well, and you'll understand why it's junk food, because I explain how it works. And then hyperactive children commonly would have allergies, colds, flus, eczema, can't focus, can't concentrate, can't relax. So I cover that as well, so that you can get that out of the way. Because a child who's got allergies won't be able to concentrate. So if they've got colds and flus, something is wrong with their immune system. So I teach how to build up the immune system and how to make the body be able to look out for itself and not be sickly. So if you have a child who's not sickly, then it's a better thing. So there's less trouble to worry about. And then comes parenting skills, teaching them morals and values. How do you do it? What are the things to look for? And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some practical examples, 2 examples, because I have to go over the materials here first before I can show you how I applied this information. And on a road trip, I had 3 children, and traveling for 6 hours, and I managed to keep them calm, relaxed and quiet, and not a fight. I'll explain how I did that. And also I will teach you how I got my children to eat vegetables. I know children hate to eat vegetables, but I found a way where they actually want to eat vegetables, and I will explain to you which parenting skills I used that got them to want to eat vegetables, and they still eat vegetables today. Not because I tell them, it's because they want it. So stay with me, and I will tell you at the end how I did that. And then there's another topic, is study skills. When one studies, one runs into certain obstacles and barriers which actually are similar to the symptoms of hyperactive children, which is diagnosed and medicated. And if you understand what these symptoms are in study skills, you would implement that, and those symptoms will actually disappear. So you won't need any drugs, you won't need any nutrition, just those things. But you have to have all these in place: nutrition, parenting, study skills. Those things together will bring about, a very successful child. So, what are the points of parenting which I found have been very useful? And what is the role of the parent? For me, as a parent, my role was to make sure there was an environment for the child so that he can prosper, so that he can learn, he can make good choices, and he also feels secure while he's growing. Because a child, when it's born, is very insecure. They've just arrived in the family, they don't know what's going on, so they need to know that the parents are there for them and reassure them all the time that things are okay. Like a child, if he's got a nightmare, you can't go and reprimand them for being scared of things. They're scared. So just reassure them it's okay, that you're there, and you'll be there for them all the time. And you continue this until they become teenagers and grow to the point where they can actually look after themselves. That's your job. Your job is to make sure that environment is made, and they know how to make good choices. So how do you help them make good choices? What are good choices? Do you know that? So let's go over that. Right. So one thing about a child is self-determinism. Determinism means to determine an action, something that you decide to do something by yourself. But now, unfortunately, a child is not equipped in life skills to know what to decide, but they want to decide to do things. So how do you help them be able to exercise that self-determinism so that they can do things correctly and do the right choices? So how do they determine that action? Because it's something they want to do. They want to cook. They want to go to bed at this time. They want to go play. You know, there's like, I want to do certain things. Now you can go and handle it by stopping them, which is a bit of a problem because it backfires. So how do you get them to decide something that they want to do? For example, if you want the child to go to sleep at 8 o'clock and you tell the child, in other words, you determine he's going to go sleep, the child's going to sleep at 8 o'clock, you're going to have resistance. Now how can you give the child a choice without a choice? Basically that's what it is. So when the child has a choice, he feels he's determining the action and he's going to be happy about it. So what time would you like to go to sleep? In other words, you're not giving them a choice of sleeping. You're just telling them, giving them a choice of time. Would you like to go to sleep at 8 o'clock or 10 past 8? Which time would you like to go to sleep? So now the child will start thinking, he'll tell you, well, okay, I'll go to sleep at 10 past 8. Self-determinism. He determined his time, but he never determined it. You decided for him what's good for him. Later on, when he becomes older and he looks after himself, then he can do his own, he can determine. But this is how you help them. There's a little booklet called How to Make Good Choices, which actually helps the child make good choices and actually enhances their self-determinism. At the end of the video, I'll send you a link where you can download a booklet, How to Make Good Choices, which is free. And by reading that, it helps the person find out what are good choices and what are bad choices and determine themselves that by their own self-determinism, they will choose to actually do those choices. Number 2, self-esteem. Now, if you can build a self-esteem in your child, you've won the child. A child without self-esteem, with low self-esteem, is trouble because they don't have confidence in themselves. What is self-esteem? Confidence in self, confidence in one's own worth and one's own abilities. So now, if you can build confidence in a child in certain skills and worthwhile, when they're in the kitchen with you, they are cooking, you are teaching them how to cook, you're teaching them how to bake, you give them confidence and give them skills. They feel worthwhile, they have some worth. So that builds up the self-esteem. If they go swimming and they do well in swimming and they win, they build self-esteem. Opening the door for a lady entering a house or entering a place, you validate that. In other words, and it builds the self-esteem. In other words, it builds worth. You're validating good choices. So, what's your role as a parent? You have to make sure that they build that confidence. So, make sure when they do something, they learn something, give them that encouragement. Well done for things that they've done good. If they've done something wrong, they've made a bad choice, maybe go back to the book, How to Make Good Choices, and see why it's wrong and let them make a choice as to why they're not going to do it again. Alright, so how does one lose self-esteem? Basically, if they don't know how to make the right choices and now they go out and they do the wrong choice, they do things and they choose the wrong things to do, there's going to be a bad outcome that's going to come out of it. And they're going to have an inner feeling, a guilt feeling. So that starts eating up the self-esteem. So these are the things that one needs to be careful of. And again, as I said, if they learn how to make good choices, that self-esteem will be built, and there will be less chances of them making bad choices and getting guilty and losing their self-esteem. And with self-esteem, they also see themselves as deserving respect. How do you gain respect? If you want to gain respect in life, you have to make sure that you do things the right way, and if you're an expert at something and you get results, so that's where your self-esteem comes, results. So when you do something, you get results, it builds respect, and you earn it. If you do things that doesn't get results, or the results are bad and it damages other people around you, then you lose respect and you can't earn that respect. So you have to look at what outcomes, what results are you getting by your actions. And good actions, good choices. So self-respect also builds up self-esteem. What is self-respect? If you understand how your body works, you respect your body, you bath it, you look after it, you feed it correctly, that's respecting the body. You respect your possessions, you respect other people's possessions. If you can do this, you have self-respect and you build up your self-esteem as well. Now, there's something that will never go. social media will always be there. Peer pressure will always be around. Drugs and alcohol always be around. People will criticize you all the time. There'll be suppression, there'll be bullies. You can't actually stop that. It will be around. Now, how do you become not adversely affected by them? It's through self-esteem. If you don't have self-esteem, social media can influence you, peer pressure can influence the child, drugs and alcohol can be used to influence because it makes them feel good, it makes them feel accepted, they fit in, because they don't have self-esteem to be able to actually be craving an acceptance and approval because there's no self-esteem. So when you see a child that needs approval and wanting for somebody's opinion, what do you think about it? Is it okay? Did I do right? Or I'm seeking for that and trying to feel that there's a lack of self-esteem there. And social media peer pressure can add to that and makes it worse. So if you have self-esteem, that becomes like a way of protecting the child, like a barrier to these problems that we have in society. So back on, just before we can finish on self-esteem, recognize in the child or in yourself what's good in that person. What are they good at? Are they good at cooking? Are they good at fishing? Are they good at singing, playing? Are they good at music, art? What are they good at? Are they good at fixing things? Are they good at mechanical stuff? Find out what are they good at and just build them in that area. Build their confidence in it. Because what happens is in the future, when you're good at art or good at mechanics or good at something or accounting or something, they will be able to earn a living out of it. They will earn a higher living because they have so much more confidence in themselves. In other words, they trust their actions. They trust that what they're going to do, they trust that what they're going to deliver to the other people is going to be good, and they will get some exchange for that. And if they do more than normal and they deliver a lot, they will get a lot of exchange for it, which it translates into more money, so it means translates into wealth. So self-respect, self-esteem, self-determinism, all these are related to building the child for the future so that they become wealthy. Wealthy in money, wealthy in people, wealthy in interaction with others. Now, number 3, exchange, contribution, participation, inclusion. You have to allow the child to exchange with you. They are part of a family. They came into your family, they're part of your family. You have to allow them to exchange. A baby will want to exchange. While he sees you cleaning, they want to copy you. They want to clean with you. Allow them to clean, even if it's a sloppy thing. But let them have that feeling that they can contribute to that family. When you prevent a person from contributing, you can turn them into a criminal. And that's how criminals are made. Criminals are made because the people who have become criminals have been made to believe they cannot contribute to society. So don't allow this to happen. Doesn't matter how old your child is, baby to adult, allow them to contribute to you. Let them do things in the kitchen with you, clean the house with you, wash the car. Give them something in exchange as well for what they're doing. Like they can earn, if they wash the car, they can earn a little bit of money. So they have to get that feeling of contribution and exchange. You have to allow this to happen, otherwise you're going to have trouble with the child. And as a parent, number 4, the parent is someone who's there for the child. The child wants to feel security. I found once that the children want to play, they just want to know that you're there. And one day I sort of disappeared and I went somewhere and the child started getting worried, where's dad? So then I realized the child only needs to know that your presence is there because they just feel secure. That's all they need, so that they can go carry on playing and doing things with their friends. They just need reassurance that all will be fine, and also they need somebody to listen. They need somebody that will listen to them, because a child is not an angel. They will do things, they will do the wrong things. You must be able to be the person that they can come and confess to. And when they confess something that they've done, just acknowledge it. Thank you for telling me. And maybe go on to how to make good choices and see how they can do better in the future, not to do these mistakes. But if you reprimand a child for a mistake, they're going to keep quiet and not going to talk to you again, and that they bottle up all these things and withhold this information that they're not telling you, all the things that they've done wrong and all that guilt that can blow up in the future. So do not allow this to happen. Allow them, make it a space that is free for them and safe for them to confess to you. Number 5, the child has a purpose. When a child is born and he comes into the family, his main purpose is to grow. That's all he wants to do. He wants to grow to become an adult. And once he becomes an adult, his purpose is going to change, because he wants to become an adult to be able to possess things. He would like to possess a car. He would like to possess a house. He would like to possess toys, or he would like to possess equipment or something, or an aeroplane, whatever. or a business. So they look up to you as this is the thing I want to get to. They want to grow. So this is something that you can put a lot of attention on at times when you want them to do things which is right. Is put some fuel into their purpose to grow. So, and then number 6, study skills. I spoke about it earlier at the beginning. In studies, you will encounter 3 types of barriers, and 3 barriers, they've got different symptoms. One of the barriers that you run into is called the misunderstood word. If a child is reading a book and they don't understand the word or don't understand words in there, what happens is they can get blank. They'll be not there. They'll be like wandering around, and they'll be tired. They'll want to leave. They'll be distracted. They'll be irritated. These are the symptoms. So now these are symptoms of hyperactivity as well, which is classified as the sort of a mental illness, which is not. It's just that they've gone past words they don't understand. There's another 2 barriers. And one of them, if they skip a step. In other words, let's say you learn how to swim. You can't teach a person how to swim before floating, so the step is skipped. So if you skip a step in anything that you learn, that creates certain symptoms as well. For example, they'll feel like a sort of a dizziness. There's a course that you can do that goes in detail how to identify these symptoms, and once you identify them, you know, okay, that symptom, okay, the blankness, there's a misunderstood word. You go back to the materials and go find the misunderstood. Suddenly the materials become clear again. In other words, there's no confusion in what you're studying. When there's a confusion, it's normally because of that. So what happens is you have the child now is not interested in his schoolwork, doesn't want to study, yet he wants to become a pilot. Now if he runs into these barriers, you know, it's like it's a loss. So these are things that need to be made available for them to be able to, you know, like to progress over it and overcome those obstacles. And I'll be giving you some links from the video, links on how to get to the free booklet, the free ebook on how to make good choices. A link on children, a little bit more detail about what I've explained here and as to how to raise a child properly, how to make it work, and some courses on parenting as well, which covers that. And as I promised you at the end, how did I actually get the children in a road trip? We were driving from Johannesburg to Durban. I had the 3 children, my 2 children and their cousin. They were about 8, 9 years old. And how did I keep them from fighting amongst each other for 7 hours? What I did was I gave them a choice. The choice was the choice was on food, but I wasn't giving them a choice on bread or burgers. I said, you can have which burger would you like? Would you like a chicken burger or a beef burger? So they had a choice now. I said, no bread, but you can have beef burger or cheeseburger. Which one would you want? No cool drinks. You can have liquid fruit or some fruit juices, which is not sugar loaded, because the other cool drinks are sugar loaded. Which one would you like? Would you like rather water or this juice? So they had a choice, and they told me what the choice was, which burger they wanted, and that's what we got. And the trip was the most peaceful trip I've ever had, and no one wants to believe me. Well, I experienced it because I worked on choices, on the choice and food, what foods to eat. So I made sure that the tummy was always full. They were never hungry, because a hungry child becomes irritable, and that's how you take away one way of taking the irritation out of the child is make sure their body is well fed. How I got my children to eat vegetables is a very interesting story. So I applied these principles: self-determinism, self-esteem, and especially the child's purpose is to grow. A child wants to grow, and he wants to grow well, and he will hate to find out that certain things would actually damage his body. So how do you do this? Is that I wanted them to eat vegetables, and I had to find a thing that would actually be damaging to their body. So I asked them, I said, okay, when the colon has got waste that's supposed to be dumped in the toilet, if that waste sits in the colon and it doesn't move, it will get rotten, and it will putrefy. So now I thought, okay, what can I do now? I said, and a way to actually remove it is the principle I use of a broom. The vegetables are actually brooms. They've got fibers, and the fiber actually with water removes the waste easily. So you have to have a broom. So it's like if you've got a dirty floor, you use a broom to remove the dirt. So I asked them, I said, so I had to be a bit crude with them, so I asked them, so when you fart, what does it smell like? It stinks. Yeah, it stinks. Why do you think it stinks? It's because there's food sitting in your stomach which is rotten. Oh my word. Now, that they don't want to know that. There mustn't be rotten stuff in their stomach. So they're asking us, how do I get rid of that? I said, well, you need a broom. A broom? I said, yeah. What brooms? I said, well, the brooms that you have that removes the waste in your stomach is vegetables. Oh. So now they realize, okay, so now I'm giving them the choice now. But no choice really. The choice is what vegetables. But there's no choice of vegetables or junk foods. It's vegetables. So with a choice, we say, okay, what vegetables would you like? There's a choice now. There's broccoli, there's cauliflower, there's cabbage, there's spinach, there's all these vegetables, the carrots, there's fruits as well, which have got fibers. Which fruits and which vegetables would you like? So they decide. So they're making a choice. They would like this, this, and this. I say, okay, good. So now when we go to the shop, when we go to the supermarket, you will choose your vegetables. You will choose your brooms. And ever since that time until today they're adults, until that time, they've been eating their fruits and vegetables without me telling them, without me giving them a lecture. They did it because of a choice. So they made a choice, a self-determined choice, so there's self-determinism. They had confidence in it that it's going to help them, and it was fulfilling their purpose, which is going to help them to grow. So that's how I did it, and I'm sure you can find interesting ways of getting your children to choose what is good for them and how to eat vegetables. I've come to the end of this talk. I trust you've learned something. I'm sure you can use some of the tips here. Go to the links and find out more about how to grow a child or how to make good choices. All these will be additional materials for you, which has value and which will make your life easier. And at the end of it, you're going to have a wonderful child who will grow up to become a very self-determined child with self-esteem, and a contributing child who will become a contributing adult and probably do some good things for society as well as the family and himself. Thank you for listening, and I wish you good luck and a great adventure in building your child to become a very successful adult.